house. It was people.
News Radio KMAN weather.
20% chance of showers and thunderstorms after 2 a.m. tonight. After that, partly cloudy with a low around 63. Mostly sunny and a high near 87 tomorrow, with the wind picking back up, gusting as high as 20 miles per hour out of the southeast. Partly cloudy with the low around 69 on Thursday night. Friday, sunny with the high near 93. Going to be warm to start the weekend, a high near 91 on Saturday. Still wind gusting as high as 20. Right now in Manhattan, partly cloudy skies and 82 degrees. The game is next on News Radio KMAN.
Weather on News Radio KMAN is brought to you by Sunset Zoo. Memberships are a fun way to experience the zoo. Pick up your membership and enjoy the Sunset Zoo all year long.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Well, if you hear the occasional buzz in the background, there's people working straight above the studio here. Because straight above the studio is technically the attic. We don't have an upstairs, it's an attic. And a lot of work going on, a lot of drilling and stuff.
Confused the heck out of me for a little bit.
Well, with that, welcome to the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf hanging out with you until 5 o'clock. A couple of guests here joining us today. Colleen Corbin, head coach of K-State Soccer, will be joining us later in the hour. And we're only with you for 1 hour today. Again, the Royals coming up at 5:40. What happened with the Royals last night, Cole?
Well, their offense just sucks.
Yep.
And they're now 4 games out of the wild card spot with like 19 games to play. So it's kind of now or never time. There's still a series against the Mariners, who currently hold that third spot, but now I believe it's the Guardians and the Rangers that are in the mix, actually above the Royals at this point. So it's do or die at this point in the season. If they don't start winning games starting tonight, they can't lose another game to the Guardians. Their chances are currently swiftly running out.
Well, let's get right to it. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. AEW Dynamite tonight from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, PA, the former ECW Arena. This is the last Dynamite in front of about 1,000 people, as we are a week and a half out from the next pay-per-view, All Out, in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Scotiabank Arena. That is on September 20th, starting at 2 o'clock Central Time. It is KSO Day. This week we are joined by the man in charge from K-State Online. Derek Young joins us here on the game. DY, first and foremost, of the struggles for K-State football, maybe the biggest bounce back we saw was a kickoff return for a touchdown. I don't know what your dialogue is prior to Saturday about special teams, but did you happen to get dunked on by Bryce Norenberg, kind of like I did?
No, not Bryce Norenberg, because I thought obviously the special teams needed some progress, needed some fixing, but the kick return game was probably last on my to-do list, to be quite honest, because I did think he was close to rattling off one or two of those returns in the prior game. I wouldn't touch the kick return game, but wouldn't touch the punt return game, to be quite honest, because Sterling Lockett is without Dylan Edwards. Sterling Lockett's probably your best answer, and he's going to make the right decisions, whether to pick it up and make sure that they don't flip the field 10 or 15 extra yards, or just catching it without muffing it. I think he is the right answer when you do not have Dylan Edwards. And in the kick return game, I think it's pretty challenging for the most part to find one that can really house it, just with the rules being what they are. The fact that Norenberg has one, came close to another in the game prior to it when he tried to hurdle about 3 different dudes. You got to hang on to the ball, but I just don't think those are the issues. To be honest, the biggest special teams issue is that you have one of the worst punters in college football right now.
I think 119th in the country net punting is right now for
So
K-State.
I'm not crazy. That's alarming. Like you have I know that he can really boot 140 or 50 yards. Heck, his best one came at like the most inopportune time. Am I not wrong? Like he finally booted one, just got a hold of it and kicked the crap out of it. But they were kicking from the Army 45, so that baby went in the end zone without any problem.
Not burying him in the 20, though, yet. There's still progress to be made.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But I was like, well, I'm sure if anybody on KSO was not happy with special teams, Mason Voth, he had like a 10-minute long monologue about special teams on Power K Game Day. I had to cut him off. But it's the Cats are 1-2. They just lost to Army. They lose again to a Group of 5 team. I'll ask you simply, how bad is it right now?
I mean, I hate to say the sky is falling. It's pretty brutal right now. You have a pretty good passing game. Like Avery Johnson's ball placement has just been on point. As a passer, he's taken leaps and leaps and leaps and leaps ahead of where he used to be. He is better as a passer now in college football than I thought he would ever reach, to be honest, in college football. The problem is like he doesn't seem to know when to take off. I don't really care about having. I've had this conversation on KSO. It's been a pretty hot topic this week. Avery Johnson, the quarterback run game, all those things. I don't really care to have a designed quarterback run game because regardless if Avery's doing what he needs in the quarterback run game or not, like it's not getting blocked well enough. The design quarterback run game, yeah, maybe Avery could be better, but like there's just not a lot there. It's not going to be successful. But Avery as a scrambler, I think there's more to unlock there that he is not unlocking. So that's what I would say on him. But in general, this is not a team that can run the football right now. And that's a problem. And in general, this is a team that is terrible in the red zone as an offense right now. And that's obviously a problem and not good. And in general, this team as a defense is terrible in third down. It's terrible in fourth down. And it's terrible in short yardage. And if those things are all the case, and the offense is terrible in short yardage too, you're never going to get off the field, and you're never going to score enough points. Like, I hate to be fatalistic, but the problems are real, and they have an issue when it comes and maybe the root of all of this, right? I said a bunch of problems, but the cause of a lot of it is you're not tough enough, you're not physical enough, and you're not disciplined enough.
What about you really just leaned in my next question because you just brought up toughness, and that's one of the flashy words I've been hearing, and I've even used myself. I can't fully speak on toughness, but I just from the eye test, I do have my concerns for sure. Other words have been thrown out: heart, execution, mentality. I mean, what other words come to mind? Like big words come to mind about the struggles.
Execution comes to mind when it comes to the offensive line. Like they got to do their job. Like they can't just whiff and chase guys and miss guys play after play. So when it comes to execution, I point to the Kansas State offensive line. Like that was an abomination against Army if you rewatch the tape. But in general, toughness and stuff like that, it's like when it's third and short, when it's fourth and short, who's pushing who, right? You have the tackle, right? Do you push back on the tackle or do they push through you? As a defender, when it's 4th and 2, we're in the south end zone, right? It's 4th and 2 at the 3-yard line, I think. Army has the ball. Kansas State meets the tackler behind the line of game. And they just keep going. They just keep plowing through. Go look at that. Zayshawn Rich, you don't want to watch that tape. Doesn't look good for you. Look like you just kind of old-laid that tackle. Easy, 1st and goal inside the 1-yard line for Army. Those types of things. It's not just mental toughness. It's not just physical toughness. Like, I'm a better fighter than you. No, it's not about that. Like, when you make a tackle, like, you don't just make a tackle. It doesn't matter if you make the tackle if the guy falls forward 2 yards. Like, they talk about the kickback tackle. Like, you make a tackle and you push them behind the tackle, right? You push them backwards. Like, who has the momentum on that tackle? Those are the types of things when I revert back to toughness. Who's pushing who? Who's imposing their will? Those things matter. Remember when Rocco Beck up those first downs against Kansas State? He was the one just pushing through. The same thing with the Army quarterback on last Saturday in 3rd and 4th down. Like, don't tell me you got to the right spot. Don't tell me you got here and there. Go hit the guy as hard as you can and then just keep running through him. You see none of that from the Kansas State defense.
You bring up the secondary, reminding me of something I mentioned earlier this week, because it's the same category of toughness. I think mentality became a factor as well because of Chris Kleiman. I mean, we knew the defense was wearing down. They were on the field way too much in the second half, and that's an offense against Army's offense. That is an offense that if they're staying on the field, they're going to wear you down with all these 3 and 4 yard gains. But to me, the unit that comes to mind of wearing down was the secondary, because it looked like to me in the second half they've had enough of this game. It has been way too physical. They're not used to that kind of physicality, having to make so many plays at the line of scrimmage or having to be so much of an asset in the running game that I think, yes, it did affect their mentality, how hard they played, how much effort they put into the tackles. I think they were done with that kind of offense, playing against that offense in the second half.
You're probably not wrong. One of the things I love when a coaching staff tries to preach, when they try to preach physicality, when they try to preach toughness, when they try to get themselves ready for that type of game. You know what? And it doesn't, and this might not even work, but it's a phrase I like. It says, make them quit. One side's going to quit. Make them quit. Make them give up. Make them give in. Make them get a little softer in their tackles. Just that it could be just an inch. It can be a centimeter. It can be 10 yards. Make them quit. Who makes them quit? I mean, and that type of game, that's what it matters. There are going to be games where you can make them quit and it's not going to matter, right? Like it's just a different type of game. But that Army-Kansas State game last Saturday came down to who makes them quit. Army made Kansas State quit.
Before we take a break, had you ever seen a fluke of an onside kick like that before?
No, but I'm still really confused by the response of Coach Kleiman, because he thought that might have been an onside kick and they did that on purpose, and that they just kind of got lucky with the bounce. And so he told us they were ready, but if you watch, he said they were ready for an onside kick, and he thought they just kicked it as hard as they can at a person, hope to get lucky. They were trying to squib that if you listen to Jeff Monken in his press conference. Mm-hmm. So, the press conferences and the chatter and the conversation around the play just do not align. I still wonder, what it comes down to, because Coach Kleiman said, we were ready for an onside kick. Well, and he thought that they did that on purpose. Jeff Monken said that was an accident. They were just trying to squib it. So, but if they were ready for, why did they play it that way? Because you guys got guys turning up field too. So that still to me is a little bit of a mystery that does not make sense.
So my reaction to that is, and I could be dead wrong on this. Maybe Kleiman was thinking on that particular play, they were thinking onside kick. My thought was maybe they were just supposed to be ready for an onside kick at all times. Army did that a couple of times last year, where there was just a random onside kick in a momentum swing type of situation.
Maybe, but if they were ready for an onside kick at all times, why are they turning upfield before the ball's kicked?
That ball was also kicked at 100 miles per hour. I'm not sure there was a whole lot.
Right, but if you're ready for an onside kick, you're not turning the opposite direction.
No,
You're not running towards your kick returners before the ball's kicked. Kansas State was on the front line.
Derek Young from K-State Online is our guest. We'll take a timeout. More with DY. We have him for another segment. Who that K-State hasn't had for most of this season needs to be on that field ASAP for K-State. What are the thoughts on the Arizona game? What about the next 3 games? What will K-State's record be over the next 3 games? We'll talk about that with DY next on The Game.
Tweet The Game, KMAN, or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
This Friday, September 12th, K-State football wraps up non-conference play on the road when they visit the Arizona Wildcats. Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. That means PowerCat Game Day, the biggest pregame show in the Big 12, will start at 4 p.m. PowerCat Game Day is brought to you by Prairie Land Partners, Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Center, Culver's, and the McCain Performance Series. Listen to PowerCat Game Day on 101.5 K-Rock, News Radio KMAN, and online at PowerCatGameDay.com.
Hi, I'm Malia McKinney with L&L Advisors, and I still believe in the power of an old-fashioned handshake. There's a better way to handle Medicare, one that starts with a real conversation, real information, and no sales pitch. I'm an independent advisor, which means I'm not tied to just one company. I will shop multiple plans to find the right fit for you. Whether you're retiring soon, new to Medicare, or reviewing your current plan, understanding your options is key. Medicare is too important to leave to guesswork. Let's walk through it together and see how I can help you save money and gain peace of mind. Malia McKinney, L&L Advisors, local, genuine, and here for you.
Your commercial facility is one of your biggest investments, and keeping it in top shape is critical. At Icon Structures, we know repairs and remodels can feel overwhelming, but we make it simple. No project is too big or too small. From minor fixes to expansions or brand new builds, our expert team delivers quality work at a fair price, starting with a free estimate. What does your facility need today? Icon Structures is here to build it or fix it and keep it strong for years to come. Call 785-587-8523, extension 100, or visit icon-structures.com today and let us help you. Icon Structures, we bring your building needs to life.
Join the original influencers, influencing for over 60 years, and discover how you can turn your passion for media and sales into a rewarding career. Manhattan Broadcasting is looking for creative, hardworking individuals who have a passion for helping businesses grow through traditional and digital marketing platforms. Qualified candidates should be creative, great at building relationships, and most of all, success-driven. Apply now with the top-rated media company, Manhattan Broadcasting. Send your resume to jobs@manhattanbroadcasting.com. Our client's success is your success.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. For years, the NFL has been tinkering with the kickoff, trying to strike a balance between safety and excitement. The problem was, most changes leaned so far towards safety that the play all but disappeared. Kickoffs became routine touchbacks. But after just 1 week of this season, it looks like the league may have finally landed on the right solution. With the touchbacks now bringing the ball out to the 35, special team units now have a real incentive to let their opponent bring the ball back. The fans are already seeing a difference. Week 1, just over 75% of kickoffs were returned. Compare that to last season when the number was below 33%. That's not just a small bump. That's a massive change. Suddenly, field position swings. Coverage units matter again, and coaches have to think twice before booting it out of the end zone. If the trend continues, the NFL has done something rare. Revived a play that was nearly extinct and made every kickoff worth watching again. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
For area high school scores, recaps, league standings, and coach interviews, check out Scoreboard Saturday at 8 a.m. during football and basketball season, including coverage of the Centennial League, NCKL, Big East League, Flint Hills League, and the Twin Valley League. Scoreboard Saturday on News Radio KMAN is powered by WTC Communications. I'm Cole Dutchendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State continues to prepare on a short week with Friday's game against Arizona, marking the end of the non-conference slate in a 4-game run to open the season before Saturday off. Area's coach Chris Kleiman is looking for improvement, include the offensive line, as the Cats have struggled to run the ball through the first 3 games.
Still probably missing too many things in the run game. That's the biggest thing that I would say. And you could ask TP or Liney or Hecht. We misID'd some stuff more so than we're just not sustaining blocks as much. We addressed it yesterday. We corrected it. Those kids will take ownership in it, those older guys, because we misfit some things.
The Cats in Arizona kick off just after 8 Friday with Power Cat Game Day beginning coverage on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock at 4. Manhattan football came in first in Week 2 of the Kansas Media High School football rankings following their dominant performance in Week 1, taking down Garden City 43-13 in a game they led 43-0 at one point. The Indians will hit the road this week in what will be a top 3 matchup in 6A as they face Lawrence Free State. The Rock Creek Wamego game on Friday will be a top 10 matchup in their respective classes, with the Red Raiders coming in at 4th in 4A, Mustangs at 6th in 3A.
Game continues on K-Man. Cole Dutchendorf across the glass. Mitch Fortner here with you until 5 o'clock. Royals take over. First pitch 5:40 against the Cleveland Guardians. Can they salvage this thing? They need to salvage the season at this point.
And by the way, Chris Kleiman show on K-Rock, I believe, tonight at 7 o'clock.
Correct. Chris Kleiman show, 7 o'clock. I hear that's an opportunity for the people to ask those tough questions. Mitch back with Derek Young from K-State Online. DY, teased this before the break, was given this a thought earlier today. You know, K-State has had a number of guys that we haven't seen on the field yet, or we've seen them for one muff punt, and that's been it. Sounds like, you know, maybe Dylan is getting closer to making a comeback, probably not going to play against Arizona, who knows. Who do you think of that group of players? And it's mostly obviously on the offensive side. Does K-State need to start playing ASAP?
Just the guys that are banged up, probably George Fitzpatrick. He could, if you get George Fitzpatrick up to the ability that was expected of him when we were talking about him in June and July, that solves a lot of problems. You just move probably either Fitzpatrick or Pastore to right tackle, and then you just have a free-for-all battle at guard, and the best man comes out, right? So when they got to get the offensive line right, and it's far from right now.
What are your thoughts on Friday? I think the line has been kind of going back and forth.
It's a seesaw.
Yeah.
Seesaw, right? I picked Arizona to win. Like I haven't put my official written prediction to pick in previews, not on KSO yet, but I've been on shows. I've been asked. I would take Arizona. Like I think they're now the underdog. I think Kansas State's back once again as the favorite, depending on where you look. It goes back and forth. It's a little bit of a seesaw. 1.5, 2.5 point favorite. 1.5, 2.5 point underdog. I like Arizona. They're unproven. They haven't played anybody. They beat the crap out of 2 bad teams, but Kansas State has played an average game against Iowa State, I would say, and then 2 poor ones against North Dakota and Army, where they could be sitting here 0-3 if they weren't lucky enough to get a touchdown on the final drive against the Fighting Hawks in week 1. So now you're giving me Kansas State on a short week on the road in this spot last year, Big 12 teams on the road on Friday against another Big 12 foe, 2-5. And one of those was a Black Friday win, so it's not even really the same if we're being quite honest. So the road team at a big disadvantage historically, year over year on Friday. Short week also after you're playing one of the more physical teams on the schedule against Army. Chris Kleiman's already talking about how banged up Kansas State is. Sometimes I think he wills those things into existence, or at least gets into his own team's head. We'll see. But for all those reasons and for how Kansas State's playing, I don't know why you wouldn't take Arizona right now.
I know hindsight, 2020, all that. Was it a mistake to schedule a team like Army?
Yeah, especially the same year you go to Ireland, right? You did all these things at the same time. Like, it's bizarre. So you have Army, you have an Ireland game, and now you have a Friday road game, all in the same month, the first month of the season. Like, the circumstances of that are just bizarre.
K-State has Arizona on Friday, bye week. UCF comes here, and then you're going to Waco, Texas. So 2 of the next 3 games on the road. Cats really need a bye week. Mm-hmm. And then Baylor pulls off a big ol' overtime comeback and beats SMU. What do you think K-State's record is going to be over the next 3 games?
Everything is on the table. What I will say is this game, from a numerical value standpoint, has no meaning. And people are like, what are you talking about? to get, I mean, at this point, because we're all championship oriented and playoff oriented now, which is part of the beast and part of why college football is a little bit more not the charm it used to have. Let's be quite frank. But at the same time, we're talking about Kansas State here. If you think about it from a championship standpoint or a playoff standpoint, like a total outcome standpoint, which the team should not be, but we can, this game does not matter. You've already played yourself out of a potential at-large consideration, most likely. You could be 0-3. You should have lost North Dakota. You did lose to Army. No one's going to take you at the end of the season as an at-large consideration. So, non-conference games probably don't matter. Guess what? Arizona's a non-conference game. The only way that Kansas State can make something of this season is to tear it up within Big 12 play. This is not a Big 12 game, even though it's a Big 12 opponent. That's just the truth of the matter. With that being said, the only way I see a perhaps fixing or remedy of the situation is if you go into this bye week with a win. If you go into this bye week 1-3, probably should be 0-4. I just think the feelings and the mentals of the entire roster and coaching staff at this point is I don't know how they come back from that.
Is Iowa State the best team in the Big 12?
It's them or Utah, wouldn't you say?
They're at the top of my list right now.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't made. I think last week I want to say, and I'm in the middle of trying to find it because I do. Yeah, the last week at Iowa State #2 and Utah #1. I might flip that this week. And I know Texas Tech is completely barraging underclassed opponents too. Those are probably the top 3. But I would probably go Iowa State 1 this week. I'll probably do that. But like, if Utah can keep Devin Dampier healthy, that's a handful.
Are you reserved still on Texas Tech? Because they've played maybe the worst team in the FBS and FCS.
Yeah, I need them to prove themselves against a quality opponent before I completely buy in. But like I said before the season, I took them to go to Arlington. Why? Not because I thought they were world beaters and that their portal success was a sign of things to come. I don't know that yet. It's the fact that they're still pretty talented when you compare Big 12 rosters, and you combine that with, I think they have the most fortunate Big 12 schedule of anyone in the league. If you ask some of the metric makers, whether it be Kelly Ford or some of those other advanced SP+, all the things, they think Texas Tech has the easiest Big 12 schedule. If they're right, they're probably going to be in our league too.
All right, DY, appreciate it. You got double duty on Friday, then you got hopefully a clear weekend on Saturday to enjoy some football. So with that, appreciate your time, and we'll see you at a press conference here shortly.
Appreciate it, Mitch.
Derek Young, K-State Online. I say double dip because he also now doing some Colorado, and they play Houston on Friday. We'll talk more about that with Mitch in Vegas coming up on tomorrow's show. We got a very busy show tomorrow. Michael Lev, who is a beat writer for Arizona football, going to be joining us. Hope to be joined by Curry Sexton. Going to get Mitch in Vegas, the keys to the game. But we're not done yet. We're still with you until 5 o'clock. I want to catch up on another K-State sport that's off to a pretty solid start. And Big 12 play is right around the corner. They got one more non-conference game. That's tomorrow at Boozer Family Park. K-State soccer coach Colleen Corbin is coming up next on the game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Here comes Sproles, first down, midfield, breaks the daylight, in the run for the end zone. This will give him a 2-touchdown lead. He's got it. 60 yards on the middle screen to Darren Sproles.
This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Come on home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
Andrews and Associates Counseling. Life happens. Hope, growth, and healing can too. Serving Manhattan since 1998.
Briggs Auto Group. Proudly serving Northeast Kansas for over 40 years.
Central National Bank. Money for life.
Come home to West Loop and Manhattan's West Side.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
Spice up your event with Qdoba Catering. Our burrito bowls, nachos, and salads will taste oh so delicioso with juicy smoked brisket and adobo marinated grilled chicken. Fresh fajita veggies and hand-smashed guac will add a burst of flavor to your meal. Place your order today. Qdoba, united by flavor.
Feed your team with a Qdoba tailgate pack. Touchdown with our nacho bar. Get your game day rolling with a 10-pack of burritos. Or snack for the win with chips and queso or hand-smashed guac. Order online or give us a call.
The secret to getting ahead is getting started. The words of Mark Twain. If you know what it's like to be behind and you're looking to get ahead for a change, it's Central Time. Open a new opportunity checking account with Central National Bank that makes finances easy. Account opening is subject to qualifications. Restrictions may apply.
Central National Bank, money for life.
Member FDIC. Money for getting started since 1884.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Walk MS brings communities together to raise awareness and funds that change the world for everyone affected by multiple sclerosis. Together we are stronger. Register today at walkms.org.
The Ramsey Show.
The problem is the stupid banks will loan you so much money that they put you in bankruptcy because they don't have an off button. They'll just loan you money. You know, you can go get a credit card, you can go on a trip you can't afford, you can go down here and get a car. You know, there's actually people out there walking around that still think that if the bank will loan it to you, it means you can pay it. The same people that think if you have checks left in your checkbook, there must be money in the account. Same people.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Slight chance of showers and thunderstorms tonight starting after 2 a.m. with an overnight low of 63 and partly cloudy skies. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high near 87. The wind from the past couple of days picking up even further, 20 miles per hour gusts out of the southeast. Partly cloudy and a low around 69 on Thursday night. More wind on Friday with a high near 93 and plenty of sunshine. 91 to start the weekend on Saturday. Right now, 85 degrees in Manhattan.
The game continues. Mitch Cole. We're out of here at 5 o'clock for Royals baseball taking on the Guardians. So far, that series has stunk for Kansas City. Let's see if they can bounce back tonight and stay in the playoff hunt. Let's talk a little K-State soccer with head coach Colleen Corbin. Her team, unfortunately, in their last matchup, which was against Nebraska, they took their first loss of the year. It just took 6 matches to get to that first loss of the year. Non-conference play wraps up tomorrow night against Colorado College. Coach, if you don't mind, take me back to the game against Nebraska. Nebraska scores their 2 goals in a 4-minute stretch, 86 minutes of soccer where your team actually outshot Nebraska in the game. Maybe seemed to be a bit of the better team, but I wanted to get your reaction to the way you felt like your team played against Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, I think when, the staff went back and watched the film, we were actually more disappointed upon watching it back than we were in real time. I think in real time it felt like we were a little bit more competitive than we actually were. There's some things about our soccer play and identity that we really value. One of those just being like our out-of-possession work rate and our physicality. And we didn't really feel like we asserted ourselves that well. And then even just like the in-possession phase of the game when we had the ball, I felt like our decision-making was actually pretty poor. Which, again, after the game immediately, I didn't feel that way. So it was interesting to kind of go back and reflect on it and then regroup with the kids just kind of about where we felt like we could have been better. But I think it was good for us to really be challenged and tested in a way that we maybe hadn't been yet. And then also just really having the opportunity to go back to the drawing board and see some things not work, I think was also good for our group right now, just kind of in this phase of the season. So, disappointed to not get a result, but also I think good for us to be able to really take some things away from that match that maybe we hadn't really been tested yet or hadn't been exposed in yet. And just excited to be able to, show up this week and compete against a good Colorado College team tomorrow at home.
Were you left with a similar feeling after the Harvard matchup? I've always been told it just when there's a draw, it typically depends on the opponent, how good they are, if you take it as a positive or a negative. I mean, how did you take that matchup at Harvard? How well did you feel like you played?
Yeah, that one was actually, I feel like, a completely different story. I told the group after that game that was the most proud that I've been to date to be their coach. I think Harvard is a championship caliber program. I know they're not necessarily a Power 4 opponent, but the Ivy League is no joke. There's some really, really talented soccer teams in that league, and again, Harvard won their conference last year, so competing against a championship caliber program on the road on a Monday, not even a Sunday, so having to kind of come back and rally after being on the road for that long is always tough, and I felt like we played really, really well. I think we created enough offensive moments in that game to win, and the ball just didn't bounce our way that day, which is how our sport goes sometimes. But I felt like competitively we showed up really well, and I felt like we made tactical adjustments in the game that the players were very receptive to and were able to implement in the run of play, which can always be really challenging. Again, that's one of the hardest parts about our sport is that we don't get timeouts and we don't get the ability to just kind of pause and regroup. And so I felt like our capacity to be able to solve problems and do things on the fly was pretty impressive. And again, just kind of the way we showed up on a Monday after being on the road for that long was really impressive. So I actually walked away from the Harvard game, even though it was a 0-0 tie. And again, another team that I feel like we could have beat on a different day, but just to see us continue to build our own identity and again, really lean into kind of what the things are that we want to be known for. I felt like we did those things on that day. So really proud of our effort against Harvard.
Yeah, you spent, I think, 5 days in Massachusetts. Did you guys have opportunities to do any team bonding type of things?
Yeah, it was a really long road trip. The only time I've ever been on the road that long has been for postseason play. So for us to kind of do that in the beginning of the season was unique. We did do a couple of fun things. We went to a Red Sox game, which was really neat. And then one of our players, Allison Marshall, actually got to catch a ball that was thrown out from the bullpen of the Pirates. So that was cool. But just getting to have that experience and, go to Fenway and get to watch the game. The weather was beautiful too, so that always helps. And then we also just got to do some things like go to the North End and explore Little Italy and go to, the food, what's it called? Oh my gosh. There's the largest food hall and the oldest food hall in America is in Boston, and it's right outside Faneuil Hall. But so we went there too. That was really awesome, and just a lot of time spent. We were on the bus together a lot because driving around Boston is kind of a nightmare. So lots of meals together. Again, some cool opportunities that a lot of people won't get to have again in their lifetime, just as far as experiences go. So overall, the trip was awesome to get a win on the Thursday and then a good tie on the Monday and just get to spend a lot of time as a group together is always positive. So we had a lot of fun as long as the trip as it was.
Yeah, you mentioned Allison Marshall has 2 goals, 3 goals by Hannah Palmer, 10 goals on the year, scored the first 4 matchups, and the majority of those goals, I think 8 of the 10 have been scored in the second half. I guess has it been, do you think, from coaching adjustments, or what's been the spark in the second half to put teams away?
Yeah, I think coaching adjustments maybe. I think our fitness and our physical capacity right now is pretty high, especially in our front group. We have some pretty athletic, fast, competitive kids, and so just kind of as the game wears on, I do think we have the ability to wear teams down a little bit physically as well as mentally. So that's always positive to see. I think we are still kind of trying to find our ability to set our footing early in a match and not necessarily have to kind of hold off until halftime to regroup and have a chat. And I would love for us to be able, especially, tomorrow back at home, to set the tone early and score a couple goals in the first half. But I will always take goals no matter when or where they come from. So just the fact that we've been able to score, double-digit goals early in the season and have them come from different people. Again, you mentioned Allison and Hannah Palmer, who have both been great, but Rylan and Andra and our whole front group is really impactful right now, which has been fun to see. And so just kind of trying, like I said, to build that identity and find a way to set our foothold early and try to put some teams away earlier in the first half rather than the second half.
We have to mention that it took 5.5 games for a team to score on you. That's a program record. I don't care who you are or who you play. That's a tough thing to pull off, to go 5.5 matchups without giving up a goal. Do you bring up the same things when you talk about defensive play? It takes toughness. It takes being in shape to be able to pull that off?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our overall fitness level definitely has something to do with it, but I think, what I've told a lot of people is, yes, we have an incredible goalkeeper in Maddie Sibbing, and yes, we do have, a pretty experienced back line that help kind of hold those things down for us. But I think a key component to that is just the overall team mentality when we don't have the ball and the defensive presence that everyone on the field is expected to have, from the front group down to the goalkeeper. And so I think that also plays a big role, just like our relentlessness in trying to win the ball back and cause turnovers and create chaos when we don't have the ball. I do think that plays a large part as well, just making it really challenging for teams to even get shots off in the first place. So, it really is a huge credit to the group for really buying into the work we've asked them to do off the ball, because that's it's a lot. It's a big ask, and again, it's physically, mentally, emotionally taxing, but also, again, sets you up for a lot more success in terms of limiting the opponent's opportunities. So it's definitely been a total team mindset, and you're right. Like, doesn't matter who you play, where you are, what that looks like. Keeping the ball at the back of the net for that long is really hard to do. So, just really proud of the growth from the group, even just from last season till now, and just kind of the mentality and the approach that they have to that mindset.
All right, last thing, I want to get your thoughts on the opponent tomorrow, which wraps up the non-conference slate. People may hear Colorado College and think small school. They're actually, if you go outside of football and basketball, they're a member of the Mountain West. They're in a big-time conference, and I'm sure you're pretty familiar with their programs. So, what's your just thoughts going into this last non-conference matchup and against Colorado College?
Julie, our associate head coach, and myself are pretty familiar with them. As you mentioned, they are in the Mountain West Conference, and having coached in that conference for 3 years, I've faced them a couple times as a coach. And Carrie, their head coach, she's been around. She knows what she's doing. She's really good at what she does. She actually recruited me when I was in high school. So, she's really good at what she does, and her team, you can tell, is well coached and bought into whatever their identity is. And so, our group knows, I think this game is set up for us to be successful. I think the way that they play and the way that we play is going to match up pretty well. And so we really just have to be intentional about asserting ourselves and imposing our physicality and, again, our kind of grit and blue-collar mentality onto the game. But, again, on paper, yes, people might look at it and think that should be a fairly easy matchup. But, again, anyone on any given day can beat anybody, and so we have a responsibility to compete at the highest level possible. And if not, Colorado College will punish us for it. So, we've learned that lesson against Nebraska. I know, again, on paper it's a different caliber program, but I feel like, again, on a different day we could have won that game, and we didn't show up and do what we're capable of doing, and we got punished. So hopefully that's a lesson learned for us, and that we can come out on Thursday and, again, lean into what our identity is and our values and live out those behaviors, and then, hopefully get a result. But it will not be a cakewalk. None of the teams we play this season are going to give us a result. We're going to have to go earn everything. So excited, like I said, to just have another opportunity to compete.
All right, Coach, congratulations on the success so far, and we'll see you tomorrow night at the ballpark. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
K-State soccer coach Colleen Corbin joining us here on the game. Tomorrow night's kickoff is at 6:30. It is senior night against Colorado College. They've allowed the seniors, they let them earlier today, just take a can of spray paint and put their autograph on the field next to the number. I thought that was a pretty sweet touch. Again, 6:30 the kickoff at Boozer Family Park. It's also jersey night. If you wear any jersey, you'll get a discount on your ticket into the game. We'll finish up Ask Us Anything after these words.
You're listening to The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen. At Stormont Vale Health, high-quality care is right around the corner.
Stormont Vale Health is more than just a hospital. We're an essential part of your community. Our commitment to quality healthcare means investing in the most skilled and talented providers and cutting-edge medical technology. Our investment in your well-being doesn't stop there. We also support various nonprofit programs throughout the communities we serve. Visit StormontVale.org and discover how we can serve you.
Stormont Vale Health. High-quality care, closer to home.
At Buck Roofing and Construction, they do more than just roofing and gutters. They also offer a wide range of siding options as well. Whether you are in need of siding, a whole new roof, gutters, or just a repair, Buck Roofing can do it all. Call for a free, no-obligation estimate today, 785-230-9379. Or visit ourbuckroofing.com. Buck Roofing, where quality and professionalism come first.
When severe weather rolls in, every second counts, and we're here to keep you ahead of the storm. Count on us for the latest alerts, live updates, and real-time tracking to help protect you, your family, and your property. From heavy rain and damaging winds to hail and dangerous storms, we'll guide you through the changing conditions and keep you informed when it matters most. Powered by Candlewood Veterinary Clinic, Manhattan Wrecker, Hummel Tree Service, Tallgrass Windows, and Ozone Roofing.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about, what am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Sherman Gillums Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
For more than 70 years, Paralyzed Veterans of America has helped hundreds of thousands of veterans get all the benefits they have earned.
Al Kovac Jr., Paralyzed Veterans of America.
We provide one-on-one support tailored to your individual needs, including healthcare advocacy, benefits support, and career assistance.
For more information, call 1-800-424-8200 or visit pva.org. A public service of Paralyzed Veterans of America.
The Cats play on News Radio KMAN.
To the 10, 5, to the goal line, touchdown, Dylan Edwards.
This is the voice of the Wildcats, Wyatt Thompson. Join me, Stan Weber, and Matt Walters for every game this K-State football season as the Cats challenge for a Big 12 title. Coverage begins 4 hours before kickoff with PowerCat Game Day on the flagship of the K-State Sports Network, News Radio, KMAN. What a play for the Wildcats!
I'm Cole Dutchendorf with a Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. K-State continues to prepare on a short week with Friday's game against Arizona marking the end of the non-conference slate in a 4-game run to open the season before Saturday off. Area's Coach Kleiman is looking for improvement, including the offensive line, as the Cats have struggled to run the ball through the first 3 games.
We have to be able to break tackles, and we can't block a play for 4 yards and get 4 yards. We got to block a play for 4 yards and get 9 and get 10. And that's the challenge that is being made.
The Cats in Arizona kick off just after 8 Friday with PowerCat Game Day beginning coverage on News Radio KMAN and 101.5 K-Rock at 4. Manhattan football came in first in Week 2 of the Kansas Media High School football rankings following their dominant performance in Week 1, taking down Garden City 43-13 in a game they led 43-0 at one point. The Indians will hit the road this week in what will be a top 3 matchup in 6A as they face the Lawrence Free State Firebirds, who picked up a win over Gardner Edgerton in Week 1. The Rock Creek Wamego game on Friday will be a top 10 matchup in their respective classes, with the Red Raiders coming in at 4th in 4A and the Mustangs sitting at 6th in 3A. Rails lost again last night, putting up 0 runs in Game 2 of their series with the Guardians, pregame beginning at 5 on News Radio KMAN. All right, Mitch, I'm finally doing the question that I teased like last Thursday. I think at this point it was,
okay.
Do you have any family members that have a weird dislike for food? And I'll give you some time to think, because my grandpa on my mom's side doesn't like cheese, won't eat cheese, not like lactose intolerant, just won't eat cheese. If he doesn't know that it's actually cheese, he'll be fine. But he thinks he doesn't like cheese, so, hamburgers without cheese, cheesecake, if he hears that it's cheesecake, he will not eat it because of the cheese element. It's all mental, but that's his dislike is cheese for whatever reason.
I mean, extended family, I can't think of anything in particular. My dad, I don't think he's like a fan of hot dogs or mac and cheese. I don't think I've ever seen, well, no, that's not. Lindsay makes phenomenal mac and cheese. I think I've seen him eat that, so I'll take that back. Yeah, no, I don't ever remember him eating my mom's mac and cheese, which is kind of surprising because she's also an amazing cook. But I don't think my dad likes I've never seen him eat a hot dog.
Which, by the way, elite combo: hot dogs and mac and cheese.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
I mean, it can,
classic childhood meal.
Yeah, it can be in the box. It can be whatever it is. Hot dogs and mac and cheese. Fantastic combo.
Now, I'll go another direction. Something my dad really likes that I don't like at all. He really likes red beers, which is like, for example, a Coors Light, and then you mix in some tomato juice or some V8 or something.
Huh. Never heard
of that. And I hate tomato juice. I hate Bloody Marys. Anything to do with tomatoes, typically, other than salsa. Or I guess ketchup. Not a fan of whatsoever.
Hey, if you ever need some salsa, my dad has a salsa business, and I know the recipe, so hit me up.
Well, my dad has the same, not a business, but he has his own salsa as well. Best salsa I've ever had. But if you can bring me a jar of it, I would love to try
Salsa's a lucrative thing back in Newton, Kansas, man. People eat that up.
Sure. Well, the only thing I don't like is my parents like to freeze it. Because then you got to get the water out.
Yeah. Fresh is the only way to enjoy some good salsa.
Does your dad do like a mild, spicy?
Mild, medium, hot. Yep. And then extra hot if you're really feeling that avenue.
I mean, I'd love to try them all.
All right, I'll whip some up and bring some into the office later this week.
We'll do a salsa trade.
Yes.
I'll try to get some fresh stuff from my parents. My parents grow their own tomatoes and stuff,
and come on,
their own peppers and spices and
all
that
nice
stuff. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Good news, we have a bit of a longer show tomorrow. It is the last show of the week. PowerCat Game Day Friday at 4 o'clock. We'll have an hour and a half tomorrow. For until then,
KS State Bank wants to be your bank. Find the solutions you've been looking for at ksstate.bank. KS State Bank, member FD.
To end it, just end the live stream and stop the recording.